Hey Trackies, welcome back to another video here on TXT Track Time. Please remember to like the video and of course subscribe to the channel. Now Trackies, as you all know again, the women's 100 meters is done and dusted. The results are in, not a Jamaican win. And most Jamaicans at this point are still devastated. You know me, I get over things pretty quickly. I move on. We got two medals. I'm happy. It could have been worse, right? But again, this is my job. I have to dissect, what happened in the race and of course tell you all my thoughts. Now, as it relates to, our Jamaicans, could they have done anything better? Was there any blundering, right? So as you know, the women's 100 meters went something like this. Shakira, championship record. Wow! 10.65. Then, of course, Shericka Jackson 10.72 and Shelly 10.77 coming in for, silver and bronze respectively. Now, of course, when I look at the racetrack, is I can clearly tell, that Shericka, had a blunder, in that race. Now let's go back to before, the finals. Let's go into the semifinals. We all remember that, ridiculous, semifinal of death. We're talking about Shakira, Talu, and Shericka all being in one race. And again, only two automatic qualifying spots, in each semifinal. And of course, there's the non-automatic time. You have to wait on the bubble to see if there's anybody that runs any faster to see if you can get in, right? So the thought process was these girls will have to run to try to get into top two. And so said, so done. Shericka ran and she took that semifinal run in 10.79 seconds. Talu was a close second behind her, also 10.79 seconds. And Shakira Richardson was third, 10.84. Now, this to me is the crux of the issue when it comes in, with Shericka's mindset, in my opinion, going into the finals. Now, for me personally, that run from Shericka Jackson was very, very easy. Her execution was wonderful. Great start. You know what I mean? Measured the field and, of course, cruised in. Talu also had a great start, you know what I mean, and also measured the field. And I was like, okay, I've qualified and I've eased in. Looked very good. I remember I was on live and I'm like, those two girls, handled the business and they looked phenomenal. Then we had Shakira Richardson looking like she melted a little bit under the pressure. Horrible, horrible start. But of course, she held her head down or held her head up and of course, ran as hard as she could to get back into the thick of things. And of course, finished, just behind them, not too far, 10.84 to qualify as a non-automatic qualifier. Now, again, this is to me, the crux of the issue. In my opinion, Shericka Jackson may have thought to herself, here what? I'm in the semifinal of death. If I can beat said girls, that are, part of the challengers, the big four, heading into the finals, half the job is already done. My only competition, the person that I've yet to race against is Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. I have Talu covered. I have Shakira covered. It's just for me now to go into the finals and, of course, defeat, the final boss. And in her case, in my opinion, again, this final boss is, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. And funny enough, when you looked at the seedings, of the lanes, literally, we had Shericka Jackson and Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce side by side in the race, right, smack in the middle. And of course, Talu was on the outside of Shelly, and you had, Shakira well over there, in lane 9. As far as I'm concerned, maybe even forgotten. Maybe nobody realized that, Shakira was still in the race. You know what I mean? But still, the race went off. Pretty good start, I thought, from Shericka. You know what I mean? Again, when you're up there, starting with a Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce that, has a good start. Don't get me wrong. Question marks were already in my mind as it relates to Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce and her start from in the semifinal. A lot of people saw my reaction when I dropped my pot cover because, they thought, Shelly didn't make it. But it wasn't that she didn't make it. Her start, to me, wasn't what I was looking to see. And of course, that for me, as from a Jamaican perspective, was the first sign of weakness from a Shelly perspective, right? But a lot of people are like, maybe she's just working on her top end, but still, that for me was the first sign of major weakness from, a Jamaican in potentially heading into the finals. So again, Shericka for me potentially got a good start. I know she said in her interview, on the TVJ interview, that, she thinks, she didn't execute a good start, but I don't necessarily think it was the quote unquote start that was her problem. I'm thinking now it's the end of the race. Now, as we're getting into, her accelerating, getting into her top end, what happens is that she realizes, in my opinion, that she has covered Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, the top boss, the final boss in this, scenario. And as such, trackies, she was just doing enough. That's literally how it looked. She was just doing enough, to stay ahead of her and in her mind take the win, not realizing. And again, she said it herself. She didn't even realize, Shakira was out there on the outside until the end of the race when she looked over. And if you look, you see her looking over right at the end to spot Shakira because she didn't even spot Shakira before. It's right at the end of the race. She sees Shakira and she's like, oh, she was there. You know what I mean? So she was abreast of what was going on because in her mind, she's already taken out Shakiri. She's already taken out Talu. So the only person left, is Shelly-Ann Fraser Price. I have her covered in the race. Okay, it's my win. But again, Shakira Richardson was out there on the outside, out of the heat, and it was actually perfect for her. This third, place finish for Shakira was a blessing in disguise, I swear, because again, we saw what happened to her, when she was in the middle of the pack. All of that pressure right there with everybody. She didn't have the best execution there. But when she was on the outside, she was able to mind her own business and do her thing, and she executed her best race. And of course, walked away with the win. Personally, do I think that if Shericka Jackson, wasn't focused on, Shelly-Ann Fraser Price, she would have won? Maybe not, because think about it. Shakira Richardson literally just ran, Shericka's personal best, 10.65. So if Shericka was going to beat Shakiri, she would have to have run her personal best or faster. You know what I mean? So again, personally, track is when you look at the run, even if Shericka wasn't focused solely on Shelly, in my opinion, it may not have been enough to overhaul a Shakiri Richardson, but it may have been a closer race. If she was paying attention, looking through your rear view mirror to see what is going on around you while executing your race, staying in your lane, then she may have been able to respond better, to the outcome of course, Shakira Richardson, storming through to run a championship record. But all in all, though, track is again for me personally, I accept, the silver medal. I'm accepting the bronze medal. As I said, it could have been much worse. We could have walked away with one medal or no medal, right? So we got two. Stop complaining. I always say, it's a win. Getting a medal, being in top three is a win for our country. I've seen in the past, and I'm going to shade you all know, I've seen in the past where athletes, and I'm going to say Elaine Thompson here, has gotten bronze, and you all have, brung her under the ground. And I'm like, that's a win. That's a medal. You know what I mean? So we can't complain. So here we are getting, bronze and silver. Do not complain. Be grateful. It could have been worse. You know what I mean? And I'm happy that our girls walked away with two medals. It could have been better execution. It didn't happen. Hindsight is always 2020. We move forward. We tread forward and go to the future and look for better performances there. But with that said, Trackies, you all sound off in the comment section now below and tell me your thoughts. What did you think about Shericka? Did you think she was thinking in her brain, that Shelly-Ann Fraser Price was the final boss? I've already taken out Shakira. I've already taken out, Talu based on the semifinals. So now it's time for me to, take out the final boss. I haven't faced her at all this season. She's the one to take down. You know what I mean? Like the video, of course, and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.